Okay, my name is Enèsi.
Hey,
Yeah, and I'm a musician.
hey,
I'm a man of small words, so that's what I'll
that's what it
say.
is. Me and you both. Hey, I just wanted to get you here today to just talk about the musical
Yes,
journey
let's do it. Let's
and
talk.
just how many years it's been and see the growth.
I think last time I saw you were when we were in secondary school.
Secondary school, it must be, yeah. It's that almost 11 years ago.
Yeah, time has
Crazy.
flown by.
But yeah, let's
flown
talk
by.
about your early life. Like back home, what's your background? Where did you first like find a love for music and
Yeah.
want to become?
So I'm Nigerian.
Okay.
My parents are both Nigerian as well.
Okay.
Grew up in a Christian Pentecostal household,
Yeah.
and I think that was where my love for music started.
Mhm.
Because I used to be, I don't know what you call it. I used to be a fanatic when it came to like church and stuff. And so I remember there was a day where me and my cousin, we used to like get on the phone and we used to like pray with each other. Precious moments, but I remember one time he was like, "Oh, Victor's my second name in it." So he was like, "Oh, Victor, sing for us." And I was like, "All right, cool." And I sang something and he was just like, "Oh, wow, you can really sing." Then from there, went to my youth choir leader. He said I could sing. Then from there, literally just throwing myself at every given opportunity since then. And then obviously like singing in secondary school. So you heard me. Then from there, just is kind of history, really.
It's crazy. It's so interesting because obviously I come from a church background as well, and I started sound in church as well.
Yeah.
So
It's
it's so
definitely
interesting
like
in the industry. So many people come from a church background, especially in live sound, like the musicians and
100%. Because I think it's a place where like they welcome everyone at any level, and so there's no gatekeeping. You don't have to be like. It's a place where they welcome just everyone. And so yeah, if you ever wanted to develop a skill, going into a church might do you some good.
yeah. And you start young as well.
Right,
Literally.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
how old when you first started singing in choir or in church?
So how old is that? I think I must have been around this must have been maybe around year 7. Yeah, 7 times. So how old are we then? What?
10, 11,
10, 11-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when I started. And I just remember falling in love with it straight away. Like just being I don't know, it's a mad feeling. And I remember after singing in church, I thought, okay, I could do this in my school. And I remember very vividly not being the biggest of boys. I was quite a small child, I remember. But I knew that, okay, the only way that I could kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Leave some sort of mark here is let me perform and let me go on stage. So I remember there was what do you call it? These international days where everyone,
Yeah,
what was it?
them, yeah.
What is it called? International Day?
Yeah, International Day, I believe.
Yeah, so I remember I thought, yeah. And do you remember Ade?
Yeah.
Yeah, we sang together. And then that was when I knew that this is what I want to do. Like,
Ade sang as well.
Yeah, he sang. I think I forced him to sing with me because I was thinking, no, I can't do this on my own.
Okay.
And then I just fell in love with it since then. Like the feeling is, you can't compare it to anything.
Yeah.
You can't compare it to anything.
Like a freeing feeling and just in 100%.
Yeah. And I've literally been in love with it since.
Okay. You said you was in circle, innit? In school.
No.
Okay.
What were they? There was Victoria, there was Circle.
District, Piccadilly and Metro.
I was in Piccadilly.
The whole time? You was never in Circle?
I don't think so.
That's crazy. I remember you being maybe in year 7.
Were we in the same class at any time?
That must have been. I feel like we were. But then obviously it was all mixed up anyway and then different stuff. But
we weren't in the same form or anything like that.
Nah, you was in, what form was you in?
D?
I can't even remember, innit? Even me, I can't remember. I think I was in H.
Yeah, something like that.
It's crazy that just the way everyone... But yeah, because I remember you guys, even I was in the same form with Femi. I was in the same class as Femi. And then Shaka as well, same form.
Yes.
And stuff. And then you guys started doing the band together, is that right?
Yeah, Photones.
Crazy.
Photones.
So how did that come about?
That came about, how did it come about? Let me not even exaggerate it. I think it was just literally, we all had a mutual love for music and a love for the stage. and we kind of just all. I knew Kwesi could sing. Femi could play drums. Kwesi could also play drums. Shaka could play guitar. Then Jesse could play bass, kill it on bass.
Hey, my guy Jesse, man.
And we all just kind of thought, yeah, this just makes sense. It just makes sense. And then we would practice together. And then Mr. Wellington, he was very instrumental to pushing us and like getting us out there. I think one of the first time we knew that, okay, yeah, we were onto something was when we got asked to perform at the Royal Festival Hall.
Okay.
Yeah, we all thought, okay, yeah, we're onto something here. And then, yeah, we just loved every moment of it. Like it was just like a great excuse to come to school. We missed a lot of lessons, but like it was just like, yeah, this is
something that means something.
Right. Still something that means something. And looking back on it, I think I would never change those moments.
Of course,
never change those moments. I love those guys. They're all doing really good stuff now. Anyway,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
It'd
man.
be good to talk to some of them at some point as well.
Yeah, man.
It's a recurring theme though. Mr. Wellington seems to be a recurring theme.
Yeah, I want to meet him again. I wonder if he's still. I'm sure he's still about.
I was even saying to one of my guys, it'll be good to sit down with him as well.
Yeah, just to kind of like,
because he's influenced so many people and gave them opportunities.
100%. 100%.
So, yeah,
like he's definitely done a lot, and it's a testament to all teachers out there. To be fair, like you never know what you're installing in these kids.
That's the prime example of how to be an amazing teacher and a mark in someone's life to give them opportunities and a positive direction.
Right.
So yeah, man.
Right.
Hey, so from Soul Tones, you guys even performed at other events as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
We got to perform at you know the Cathedral Church Abbey, that
Westminster Abbey.
Yeah, the place that but the other one, the one that
there was a chapel next to it, innit?
Right, the one that all of the royal family get married in.
I
remember one time we got to perform there, and we got to perform like a song that we wrote ourselves. We were so happy, like yo, like that's what we've done. But yeah, like I think I would love to one day, like just for old time's sake, get together again with those guys and just have it out, man. Because they're amazing guys, man.
Bro, you guys even influenced me. I was saying this
Really
to Shaka
how?
one time as well, because Shaka was the first person. He brought a camera to school.
Yes.
And he's the first person that showed me and so many people that about creating and doing what you want.
Yes.
And there's some people that have gone onto the YouTube and to make music, and he's the first person that's filmed them.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. And I'll always thank you guys for that, because it's just, even you guys in the practice rooms and coming to see you guys on break times, you'll just be in there. Legends, man. It's just amazing.
No, it's amazing when you look back on it, like those little decisions leading up to like something substantial later on. It's amazing,
the whole direction in your life, literally.
It's amazing.
So after WCS, where did you go from there?
I went to college, SFX.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to SFX. That was an experience. Then after SFX, I went to uni, Brunel University.
Okay.
And then and that's where I think I really started to change my perception of music and my music. Before uni, people used to call me Victor. Like everyone just called me Victor.
That's what I knew.
Right.
Literally.
And then I remember I told one girl, I was like, oh yeah, my name is Enèsi. That's my first name, but I didn't want to tell anyone my name's Enèsi, because you know how in secondary school everyone like to make fun of your name. So I thought, okay, let me not even let them banter this one in it. So she was like, oh no, that's a beautiful name. Like, why don't you use it? I was like,
that's what it is.
Let me try it. So then I just thought, let me just start calling myself Enèsi, my first name, and yeah, it just kind of stuck. And then I just got into the studio, fell in love with the process of making music. Like, I found out that I loved the idea of like layering your vocals and creating something out of nothing that can potentially move people to do something
All
I
from
thought that
an
was
idea in your head.
Pardon?
All from an idea in
Right,
your head.
exactly. And I thought that was kind of magical. So I thought, yeah, cool. This is what I think I'm gonna be good at. So just really buried myself in doing that, writing songs, and just every opportunity that I could get, I would be singing, and I'll be in the studio every opportunity that I could get. And then from there, it was a case of, okay, people are hearing that I can sing. People are wanting me to do shows. Okay, cool. Maybe I'm onto something here. And so yeah, that's where it went after secondary school. That's where it kind of all started.
That's an amazing journey.
Yeah,
it's crazy because I want to ask you about your recording process now, but obviously that's a bit later on. So after uni, how did you did the X Factor as well, right?
that was during uni.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think I was in second year, and I remember the opportunity kind of. I can't remember. I was reading something when X Factor came into my mind, and I thought, okay, cool. If I'm gonna go on this, there has to be bare confirmation. Like someone has to bring it up in another conversation, and like I'm not gonna make them talk about it. They just have to just randomly talk about it, and it just happened. Bears like everyone was just talking about X Factor around me, and them times I was like, my head and everything was in the four walls of church. So the idea of me doing X Factor was a big no.
Okay.
Like, are you gonna sing songs that are not like gospel? Oh my God, what are you gonna do? So I thought, oh my God, what am I gonna do? So I thought, let me just do it. What's the worst that can happen?
Take a chance.
Right, take a chance. Let me just do it. And then I done it, and I think it's one of those. It was the start of me making decisions without thinking about what other people are going to think about me. That's where it all began, because I was at the time, that was the biggest decision I've ever made in my life, to go on national TV. I remember the day that I left X Factor, I was so like, I was in tears. I don't know if you've watched.
No, I've seen the clips that are there now, but obviously the moment it happened, I didn't watch it at that time. So I've seen it after, so I've only seen what I can find.
I remember leaving the stage and literally just breaking down, because I thought, oh my God, I've embarrassed myself. Why did I do this? Blah, blah, blah. But in hindsight, definitely one of the best decisions.
A massive learning curve.
Yeah, massive learning curve. Massive.
Even I was listening to because you used to do your show as well. So
White Room.
Yeah, so I was listening to what you was talking about that at one point, and you're saying it was your biggest public failure.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's still a monumental moment and such a big step to do.
Yeah.
Like you were on national TV singing. Yeah. And you sang good. You didn't sing bad at all.
Thank you.
So, okay, you may have not gone to the next stage, but you still did your thing.
Do you know, at the time, you kind of think, okay, I'm going to come here and it's my destiny to win. You don't think, I don't know, you don't really think of yourself losing. And I hadn't really taken any big L's before that. So my life before that had literally just been smooth sailing. Like, okay, yeah, I'm winning competitions, and I go into spaces, and I'm a good vocalist, and I can, hold myself down until you get to a point where actually you do lose. So it was a big shock to me, big shock to my system, a big learning curve.
Character building.
Very character building. Very, very character building. And so I'll never take it back. Made me even more hungry.
Definitely.
To get back on that stage, not X Factor stage,
that's
but
what I wanted to
Wembley,
ask you.
Yeah,
because that's probably the biggest stage you performed at that time.
At the time,
yeah. So, what was that feeling? Because you said performing on stages and the feeling you get. So to be in a stage that big and also broadcast to the whole country, how did that feel to you?
Do you know,
after the negative of losing past?
So I remember the time when I was about to go on stage. I remember there was like a black curtain, and you can just hear the audience. I swear to you, there's nothing like hearing people cheer for you. It can be likened to a drug, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
Because people would. Well, you see artists all the time when they go through so much just for that 2 hours on stage. It's quite it's quite. It's there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. And so when I heard that sound, it was just like the best music. And so I got out and I was just pumped. I was ready. And I remember when I left, I made a promise to myself. I said, I have to do everything I can to experience this feeling again.
Yes.
Again. This is not the last time. And I feel like I wasn't exposed to that for no reason.
100%.
Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's logged in my memory.
So from that experience, when did you go on to make your first release?
So I had released wait, had I? Yeah, okay, so after that, I believe it was shortly after that, I released my first song. It's called Dreaming. And I was excited the first time on Spotify, the first time seeing my face there, you know, like young 20-year-old, you know, releasing music. I thought, yeah, I'm gassed. And then yeah, that was cool. People were hearing my voice a little bit. And then after I released another song, but I was still trying to find my sound. I was still trying to find what worked for me, what my optimum recording process is at that time. Luckily I found it now.
Yeah.
And the music I make now is just better quality, just
100%.
better. Yeah.
What was the second song? Hello, darling.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
I took that down off of Spotify.
I saw that.
Actually, because I don't like it anymore.
I really like that song.
No, I really don't. I really don't.
I remember when that came out. That's when I got back in contact with a lot of people, and around that time when I discovered you was doing music.
Yeah.
I really, really appreciated that song, and
really, thank you,
bro, because your voice is amazing. You already know this. I've shown you this before anyway. So that song was just the different parts of the song. At the end, when obviously I'm not a singer, I don't know the terms, but like the projection and the way it increases, it was amazing. So I really liked that.
Thank you. Now I listen back to that song and I'm just like I can hear everything I should have done differently, but I appreciate that, man. I thank you.
It's an interesting one because I was saying this to someone as well. But as an artist, we have these songs like not we because I'm not an artist, but you have these songs where, because it's in the past, you look back and you kind of get embarrassed by it, or you say, "Oh, it makes you cringe because it's your old stuff."
Right.
But it's still part of the journey. It's still part of the learning.
Yes.
And I think you should always I'm not saying you don't appreciate it, but you should always just let that do what it's done, because people like to go back and see where you've come from.
That's very true. That's very true.
But yeah, no, because that was an amazing song. And then after that, where did you go from there?
After that, I released one of my favorite songs called "Take You There." I released that in 2021.
Big boy.
I'm still in love with that song. Like I could talk about the recording process of that song.
I want to know, what's your recording process?
So, at the time, I was working with an artist called Ari Leno. I don't know if you've heard of him.
No,
he's a singer. He's in America right now, and a producer called Joel.
Okay.
He's like really good on the guitar, and he comes up with really nice melodies. And so I remember we were just playing around in the studio, and we came across this Joel was making the track, and me and Arileno were just sitting down. We were thinking about what do we want to talk about? What do I want to talk about? And I remember just saying, you know what, I feel like I'm at a place where I'm starting to find the God inside me. Like I'm starting to realize how powerful we actually are. And I wanted to put that into a song, and I wanted it to embody that. I wanted that message to be honed in on the song. And so my recording process is I tend to not really like writing lyrics on a phone. I tend to like writing lyrics with a pen and paper, because I feel like it just comes out of me a bit easier. I don't know why. So pen and paper, and I remember, I think we done, what part of the song did we do first? I think we done the chorus and the pre-chorus first, and yeah, the lyrics just kind of flowed out. And for me, that's how you know you're onto something, is when there's no, it's not difficult to make.
Yeah, it just hits.
It just hit. It just keeps coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had most of the song ready. And for me, well, Arellano, he pushes me when I'm in the studio with him.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be like, okay, cool. These are. I'd be thinking these are my last vocals, but he's like, no, these are just your rough version.
Another take.
You're gonna redo all of these
Yep.
vocals and do it exactly right. So I was like, okay, cool, fine. So he definitely pushed me in the studio. I realized that I love the sound, like I was saying before, the sound of like layering and really honing in on that skill. The sound, the skill of harmony and how I like harmonies to sound and where I like them to come. Vocal producing in the sense where it's like I can use my voice in different ways to create different feels in the song, you know, like as opposed to it just being one dimensional. And then once the song was finished, I remember sending it to my other friend. His name is Israel, and he done some keys on it, and he took it to the next level. And I remember when I first had the like final thing, having that on repeat, and I had never had a song on repeat for so long. I think I had it for like a good. How long did I have the song? I think I had the song for a good 4 months. I think, because I wanted to bring the song out when I brought out White Room.
Okay, yes.
Right. So I wanted it to kind of like be like the theme song of it, or like just kind of my mantra for it. So I was just sitting on it. I prayed so much about it. I just was at so much peace with the song. And when I finally put it out, the reception I got and the response I got kind of filled me with so much gratitude and so much like, okay, job well done. Like I've touched people. I've made a song that people want to listen to on repeat. That's my job done. And it's amazing. It's amazing. I still get messages now from people saying, oh, they just heard the song and they really like it. And that blesses me
100%.
Beyond.
It's a beautiful song.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. People should, if you haven't heard it, you better go listen to that one. But nah, man, for real, because, yeah. So after releasing that, you then started the White Room?
Yes, I started the White Room. And that was basically similar to you, really. Like, it was the idea that I wanted to sit down with other artists and kind of share experiences, but also I like the idea of being able to perform with them as well.
That idea is so, like, I was watching them again, the episodes yesterday.
Oh, you were? Thank you.
And because obviously I've seen them when they released, but just the whole performance setup and that whole set and the sound and everything, because obviously I'm a sound, so I appreciate it from a different angle, like the live sound.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. The idea, just sitting down, having a conversation. Next scene, everyone, the band is there. Big up Jesse as well. I seen him on the bass. And then, hey, it's just beautiful, man. That idea, I wish you could carry on with it.
Do you know what? I have so many plans, and I don't want to say things prematurely, but
of course,
so many plans to get back to that.
It's a wonderful show.
To that concept, because I feel like it's nice. It's nice.
100%.
It's nice, and I guess similar to you, like you look back at your work and you realize, okay, I could have said this like this. I could have done this like this, you know. And so yeah, I can't wait to get back to.
You've left time for growth,
right?
So because that was maybe 2-3 years ago now. So
yes,
you've let it sit, and people spoken to you about it.
Yes,
and then you've seen, okay, this works, this doesn't.
Right.
That was that's a really nice. Even the set, is there like a stylist? The set ideas.
Do you know? Because
this
is crazy.
Perfect.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and I say, sometimes I feel like I'm the luckiest man in the world, honestly, because when I got the idea, I just thought, okay, cool. I'm gonna just tell people around me, this is the idea that I want to start. This is what I want to do. And I remember just as like coming out of the tail end of 2020, the tail end of it. So and I remember the restrictions were up and down. They went you know how like sometimes they'll be like, okay, cool, 2 months we'll lock down, and then the other months they'll just be a bit the lockdown would be a bit
What
lighter.
was it? Eat out to help out.
Right,
Around that time, they were just saying you
yeah.
could go out to eat, but you're not supposed to be outside.
Right, yeah. So it was
Yeah.
very confusing. So I remember thinking, okay, cool. What am I gonna do musically, and how am I gonna really change the conversation musically in the little space that I'm in at the moment, and also how am I going to release music, but release music as a big statement. And then the idea of White Room came to me, and I thought, okay, cool. How am I gonna do this? Because this is gonna take a lot and a big team. So I remember telling my brother-in-law, and God bless that man, love that man. He was just like, all right, cool, yeah, let's partner together, let's do this. And he helped me so much. And I remember telling, I have a friend, she's a stylist. I remember calling her and thinking, yo, let's work together. She was like, yeah, I'll be down to do it. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, this seems to be going well. Remember, we were like planning this for like a good, I don't want to exaggerate, I'm going to say a good 4 or 5 months planning it. We'll be on FaceTime, like having meetings. We'll be on like iMessage, like sending each other like looks from Pinterest and seeing how we can replicate it and how we want the set to be. And then a few weeks later, she told me that she has friends that also want to work on the project.
Okay. Yeah.
I was like, right, I'm not paying them though. They're like, they just want to do it. I was thinking,
just
wow,
to be
like,
a part of it.
right. And then it ended up being a team of, including the sound guys and instrumentalists, a team of 20 people.
Yeah.
And when I looked at it, I was thinking, this just came from my mind. This is crazy. Like, what are these guys doing here? And why do these guys trust this vision? It's crazy. And then I remember the day before the show, the filming of the show, because we filmed all 3 episodes on the same day. Yeah. Remember the day before, one of the artists cancelled, and I was thinking, damn, like, what am I gonna do? Luckily, one of the girls that had come to work on the project, she could really sing, it's crazy. I didn't actually know who everybody was at the time.
Okay.
So we were all in a group chat, but I didn't like look at everybody's. I didn't look at everybody's like DP or ever to see who it was. But I had seen this girl online and I had loved her voice. So I said to my stylist, I was like, oh, I really like this girl's voice. Do you know how I can contact her? She was like, she's in the group chat, bro. Like, I was thinking, wow, like
look at God,
honestly. And she ended up, she was, I mean, I love everyone I was on the show with, but she was by far my favorite to perform with, because it's like, it just meant so much.
What song was it that you guys performed?
Angel of Mine.
That's, bro, the voices changing, the harmony, bro, I've listened to that many times again, bro. I'm telling you, that was an amazing performance.
Her name is NK Roxon. If you guys want to find her, she's phenomenal.
Complimented each other so well.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. I really enjoyed that day, and I think that inspired me to just be like, okay, Enèsi, you know what, you can actually do a lot. You can do a lot just getting your idea out there. You never know who will be more than willing to partner with you
100%.
And run your dream up as much as you can. So yeah, man, that's how it came about. I feel like I've gone off.
No, that was because I really enjoyed when that show come out, because the aesthetics, the idea behind it, and the live performance is just perfect.
Thank you.
So all of these conversations, I want to know these things. That's why I'm sitting down.
And do you know what I've realized that one of my biggest hindrances has been wanting everything to be perfect and wanting everything to be right, because really and truly, I think there are so many things I could have done since then, but then my idea is like, but I don't want to. I want people to still see the same sort of standard.
It's interesting because even myself, there's so many things I do, and I realize that if I actually sit and think about it too much, I probably wouldn't do anything.
Right.
So sometimes I just have to full steam ahead and just not think about things. But it's from your angle, I understand, because you set such a high level. So then, but it's a good thing though.
It's a good thing
because you know that, do I get to match it or do I do something? So, but that's you have an idea to work towards, because the aesthetic, everything was just perfect.
Thank you. And I think because of that high level that it was at. I almost don't want to touch it. Like I almost don't want to do something and I don't know whether this is the right way to think, but I almost don't want to do something that might cancel out the same sort of feedback I got in the beginning. I almost want to like,
I can't tell you if it's right or wrong, but it's not the right way to, because nothing can take away from that. That's right. A moment in time that's cemented, and that's a beautiful selection of three episodes.
Right, yeah.
Perfect. So whatever you could do moving forward, it's only going to complement the first one. So, nah, man, that was monumental moment still. And then from there, your most recent release, had you dropped that whilst you was doing the show? It was a little bit after.
No, it was a little bit after. I think it was like a year after, I think, or maybe a couple months after.
The production on that, who was behind that? Because that was a bit different from the other releases.
Yeah, so at that time, I was very much in my Afro R&B kind of vibe, and I was really enjoying it. And I had already written most of the song at home. And that's another I didn't say to you. That one thing I learned is that when you go to the studio, sometimes it's great when you know you and the producer are able to create a new song. That's great. But reality says that you guys are probably going to be in the studio for what? A couple hours.
Because you're paying for the time.
Because you're paying for the time. And more time, you can't guarantee you're going to hit magic in the studio. And so one of my rules that I try to do is I try to come to the studio with at least something on paper. Whether it's something I've been listening to in the week or something I've kind of like come up with maybe in the shower, just writing some stuff so that we
start off an idea.
So that we can start. So I got to the studio now, and Joel, he was playing something on the guitar, and I loved it. And I thought, okay, you know what? I've really got lyrics for this. I've got it in my bag. Let me just do it. Recorded it, and I got to layer in. And I remember that was like, I think, a 3 studio. We had to go into the studio 3 times for that song, I remember. And it just came together so easily, so well. The message of the song was, I mean, I was going through a lot of emotional issues at that time. And yeah, it just made sense. I think that's the best vocally I sound on a song so far that I've released.
There was that key change at the end.
Right.
Oi.
I was like, no, we need to put that in.
Hey.
We need to put that in. Yeah, I've when I listen to that song, you can tell. One thing I like about the songs I've put out so far is that you can definitely tell the progression in terms of the quality is getting better. So, for example, from the last song I released and Take You There, you can tell, because we mixed Take You There ourselves.
Okay.
We didn't get it professionally done because we didn't have the money to get it done.
Still sounds amazing.
So thank you. But this one, I decided, no, I want to give people quality. So got it professionally done, and you can just hear my voice.
Can I throw a spanner in the works? I appreciate Take You There's mix.
Really?
More than...
Really? Why?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you why. The most recent one, the vocal sounds a lot more compressed than Take You There. But this is probably just an engineer's ears, isn't it?
That's really interesting.
But they're both amazing mixes, though. I'm not trying to say that.
No,
but,
thank you.
But personally, I appreciate Take You There. The mix of that song just touches me a different way, innit? So it's really
that's very
nice.
interesting. I've always listened to it. I'm like, man, I wish I did a mixer like this. But that's very interesting.
But this is a thing I've had to learn, because obviously I spend a lot of my time mixing people's music, and then I'll release a song, or they release a song, and I'll listen back to the mix, and I'll be like, I could have done this better,
right,
or this doesn't sound right. And we're so in our heads about the stuff that we've had our hands on and worked on.
Yeah.
And we're always thinking how it could be made better rather than appreciating the actual work.
Yeah.
And that's what it is, because Take You There, that's an amazing mix. And the new one, that's an amazing mix.
Thank
I keep
you.
on forgetting the name of that song, sorry.
Do You Want Me?
Do You Want Me? Yeah, that's the one. But even the instrumentation was a lot different as well.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah,
it was more live music, more actual actual instruments.
What in
Do You Want Me? Yeah.
okay.
And I think it was more vocally challenging because for singers, if you listen to the song, the second verse, I like shoot up the octave.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, I'm really gonna push myself, and it's gonna push me to, because in my mind, as I'm recording every song, I'm thinking at some point I'm gonna have to perform this, and I admire artists that can record in the studio and perform on stage. Just as amazing. I think that's phenomenal.
Because that's a massive part, because so many people that are your supporters, your fans, they want to come see you live.
Right.
And if you don't give them the same,
it's
not a positive interaction.
And you know, I for a long time, I didn't feel like I was the artist that is like, yeah, you come to if I was to have a show, come to my show and then it's going to be like a party. I felt like I'm the artist where you'll come to my show to see. I don't want this to sound big-headed, so please don't take it as that.
Sound big-headed.
I would want people to come to my show and to see a spectacle, as opposed to have like just a vibe.
But that's what it's supposed to be. So it's not big-headed because you're coming to witness a performance of your music. Right. So it has to be an amazing thing. Right. You have to be appreciative of what you're watching and seeing. So 100%. Right.
I didn't want it to just be a thing where, like, cool, let's just get waved and go to the show. Like a lot of the time, people go to concerts just to
have a good time.
But I wanted people to come and be like, wow, that was phenomenal. Like that's godly talent. That's divine. That's what I wanted.
Your music is something. It's a powerful sound. It's something that people go to appreciate. It's not something you just go and just there for the sake of it. You get me? You have to actually be appreciative of the sound, because it will touch you. It'll make you feel different things, and that's the aim of music, isn't it?
Right.
In a way. So definitely. So after that release, what's next in the journey?
After that release, I remember going back into the studio and trying to make music, but then I remember entering this phase of my life where everything started to become a bit fuzzy, and everything started to, especially musically, I started to not know exactly where I wanted to go musically. I started to feel like I had lost a little bit of my momentum, and I just suddenly felt like I was alone, which a lot of the time you are alone, but like that sensation of, okay, cool, you are really in the dark here, kind of settled in. So it came out in how I was even making music as well, like writer's block. I didn't know what to talk about. The melodies I was coming up with, in my opinion, just weren't great. And so I just thought, you know what, Enèsi, you need to kind of just pause and live and experience life, because I didn't have anything to talk about at all that I wanted other people to put on the track anyway. And so I just took a pause and just experienced life, and life experienced me. So
yeah, man.
yeah. And
it's a very interesting thing, because that's it. A lot of times as creatives, you're used to going into a room by yourself and working on your art, working on your skill, honing your skills, and hours and hours and hours. So sometimes you need to take a break and go experience the real world, because sometimes you can end up just being in your head and being in the space.
And you know, I remember and I'm sure many upcoming artists can relate to this, is now I'm 27 years old, and I remember thinking, okay, cool, Enèsi, you're pumping money into this music constantly. Every song, you're pumping money into the mixing, the studio time, the promotion. If you wanted to do a video to it, you're doing all of these things. And to me, what I thought was, I'm not seeing the results I thought I should be seeing. And I'm like, how long am I going to do this? Because the money I'm putting into that, I could be saving for my own yard. I could be saving for a rainy day. Like, in 2 years' time I'll be looking at 30.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, bro, like, how long do I want to be putting money into that pocket? And so all of these confusing things start to come to my brain, and then I started to think, okay, maybe I should bow out whilst there's still time. Like, nobody would notice. All of these things I had to really wrestle with, until I kind of came to like conclusions of my own. Yeah, so it was a very trying time after that release.
So very interesting, because I've had these conversations recently as well, because I'm in the same boat, that
Really?
just chasing my passions and doing what, like, I had a studio space for about 2 years, just running sessions, but you're paying rent on the space.
Right.
Sometimes you're getting sessions, it's brilliant, and then other times it's in the red, and you're not even making the rent for the space and your own rent for your house.
Yeah.
And then just trying to make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
But then I've also had to realize that I could get work a normal job and just do that. But in myself, I don't think I'd be happy, because I have such a passion for the skills that I've learned and built over the years, and enjoy creating and being in these spaces where I'm creating with amazing people. So then I've at the moment, I had to learn to juggle it. I spoke to D Regional recently. He said the same thing about working a day job and then putting money into the music and getting money. And it's a crazy little tug of war, I guess, because you're making money and you're spending money to hopefully make more money. But I'm a very, very strong advocate for investing in yourself and investing in your dreams, because I believe in that. But I want to see it come to fruition in a massive way as well, as you say, because sometimes it's not enough and you're just thinking, what's going on and what's the right thing to do? And so no, I fully hear you there. It's a massive important point.
And I think another thing that kind of upset me at the time, or I took personal at the time, was, you think that, all right, cool. It's crazy how the mind works, isn't it? Because you'll see people in the studio, and you'll see how, if somebody has a certain amount of traction already, you'll see how a lot of people will go above and beyond to make sure that person is like taken care of, and would go above and beyond for their studio sessions and stuff like that. But when you come and you're not really you're not an established artist yet, and you come with your £200, like, can you do a studio session with me? You're kind of brushed to the side for the bigger artists to come. And so it's kind of disheartening to like have to experience that again and again and again 100%. And again, and you're chasing up for your mixes, and you're chasing up for this to come back, and it's just like, when does this finish, kind of thing.
Real life, no, 100%.
But it's life, and I guess it's just how the game works. You just have to just thug it out until you make it out.
Yeah, facts. Told him again. No, for real. Because even after that moment, how did China come about?
Yeah, wow. So I was working a normal job, and because obviously you need to fund everything. So I was working a normal job, as well as like still doing a lot of gigs on the side. So when I say gigs on the side, like things like singing at weddings, corporate parties, funerals, private parties, just anywhere that they could require a singer. They could call me, and I'll go sing, and earning decent money from that as well. Also, like, there's this show called The Magic of Motown. You may not have heard of it, but like they go around like the UK, Europe, and like they're in theaters. And so I was like, yeah, let me do that as well. I was inside of that, and so obviously made connections doing all of these shows. And I remember whilst I was working, it got to a point where I was like, I'm actually depressed working here. Like, I hate working here. So I said to myself, you know what, I'm gonna quit, and don't ask me what I'm gonna do after. I'm just gonna quit. And I had this overwhelming sensation. It wasn't I think I'm gonna be okay. It was, I know I'm gonna be okay. And the China opportunity came like when I was around, I think immediately after I made that decision to quit, it came, and it was like, you're going to be in China for 4 months, and yeah, come, and you're gonna be taken care of in China. They're gonna place you somewhere to live. You're gonna be fed there. You're gonna be singing in this like 5-star hotel. You're gonna be doing X, Y, Z, and I'm thinking, rah, like it's so rewarding to follow your intuition sometimes. Because if I hadn't handed in my notice at that time, I wouldn't have been able to take the gig. So I was like, rah, okay, cool. So in my preparation to go China, I'm thinking, number one, not only do I not know anybody there, I'm going by myself. And it's not like I'm going to sing, like I've sung in like Spain or Holland or near UK, like 2 hours, 3 hours away. It's the other side of the world.
Completely.
So like there's no I just want to go back home. Like this is you're out on your own in a completely foreign society. And it's the first time I've done anything like that. And so I thought, you know what, like we were saying before, sometimes you just don't think about it, you just say, just do it. So I just did it. I just said, yeah, cool. And I was scared, but I thought, Bunny, I'm gonna do it anyway. So got there, and once I landed in China, I thought, raw, this is real. Like this is
culture shock.
Culture shock. This is real. Like Enèsi, you're actually here, and it's not like you're going next week. You're going next year, deep into next year. Raw. And I tell you, I think I haven't grown so much ever in my life. Like being in a place where you have to like carve out new friendships, also work with new people you've never worked with before, deal with different type of characters. I was singing every single day I was singing 5 days a week on stage, and I'm having to sing in keys I've never sung before. I'm having to give energy I've never really had to give before, and when you think you're doing the best, they're saying you can do more. They want you to do more. Just mentally and everything, my perception of myself, my confidence in myself, my assurance within myself, it just skyrocketed. It's almost like I went to some boot camp and I've come out this confident, assured man, because I took a chance and I went to China by myself, and I done that. I recommend it to anyone, not even just China, but anywhere just like
that's not your local.
And yeah, because you learn so much about yourself.
As well. Yeah.
And also I had to deal with being lonely. That was hard, because obviously the schedule's like, all right, cool, you have a show between, let's say it's one of those, like, let's say so on Thursday, Friday and Saturday was our popular shows, and so on those days the show will start at 10 and go all the way to 1:30 in the morning, and obviously it's like 4 40-minute sets, so you're singing at the top of your ability.
Is there other people in them sets? Or
there was another singer, and we would just share it. We would just share it. So in total, I would sing 16 songs. She would sing 16 songs every night, and it's crazy because it definitely trained my voice, strengthened my voice. Like the stamina I have with my voice now is, it just feels so much better. But yeah, the loneliness, it's like, so you'd have your show, you come back, and then you have the whole day, and it's not like you have your friends to go to. You have
and then you're in a place with a whole completely different language as well.
Right. So where are you gonna go? What are you gonna do? And so I had to really just stare loneliness in the face and stare myself in the face and really come to terms of what it is that's going on in my mind. Because a lot of the time, what I would do is I would fill my time and fill my space with a lot of noise, so that
busy to
so that I don't have to think about what's going on. But when I don't have any of that, and I just have to sit down and really just take everything in.
But you learn the most about yourself. That's what I find in them moments.
100%.
And it's the most amazing times when you get past, obviously, because it takes a while, and not everyone can do it because it's not easy at all.
It's not easy.
But it's the most it's the time when you probably grow the most. As you said, obviously being in a whole completely new area, new countries, you also grow a lot. But that time spent on your own is when you learn the most about yourself
100%.
and what you want to do and how to control your thoughts and
100%.
all of that stuff. So
100%. I would honestly recommend it to anyone. Just take some time out for yourself and just like confront those demons, because it's like once you do that, you just become a new person, man. A new person. So, but I definitely made really good contacts there. I learned how to network. I learned how crucial networking is, especially in this industry that we're in. I learned how important relationships are. I learned how to deal with funny characters. I learned to not be a nice person, but to be a kind person. I learned that if you don't stick up for yourself, no one will.
Yeah. Can't be a pushover out here,
right,
man.
right.
It's real life.
Right. And I think for so long, I was taught that you should aim to please, but I realized it doesn't pay. It doesn't pay in the long run.
Being a people pleaser, it's not beneficial to your life at all in any way.
It's not.
Like,
it's not. It's not.
Like you should always be a good person, but being nice all the time, especially when someone's going against you,
it doesn't.
And haven't got your best interest in mind.
It doesn't work.
Not at all.
It doesn't work. And so I learned how to stick up for myself. I learned how to speak up for myself without the confines or the safety net of the people that I know. Because for example, you can go to a place and you be like, oh yeah, my friend's here, wherever. If I speak up, I know that I'm going to be defended. When in China, I knew that I don't know anybody here.
I've got my own back.
Right, I've got my own back. I need to be able to say something when I don't feel like it. And so yeah, learned how to do that whilst I was out there. Met some incredible people. Shout out to Jay Phillips. He's an incredible artist. We made music out there as well. Marinelle, amazing singer. Yeah, just some incredible people out there that I would forever cherish. I remember.
That's a massive moment in life.
100%.
One of many more to come as well.
100%. 100%.
What's it like? Because you sang a lot of songs that are new genres and sounds you've never touched before. So how was that experiencing?
I found a new way to use my voice. And I was out there, and before I went there, I used to see my voice as this, like, I guess because of my upbringing, and when I used to go to church, I would see my voice as this sacred thing. But when I was out there, I realized that, my voice can be used to entice. And so there are certain songs that I realized that, okay, cool, I can use my voice like this. I can perform a bit like this. I can be a bit more theatrical. I can be a bit more carefree on like songs like, what song did I sing? I sang We Found Love, by Rihanna. Songs I can be just not care about how I look or how I appear, just sing and be free. Or songs like certain rock songs and all of these kind of things, and introducing my voice to these genres and how I approach them. Yeah, just having a great time doing so, man. Yeah, it was an intense but amazing experience. And yeah.
Because for yourself, obviously from church, even from back home when you were younger, have you had any vocal training, or it's just been naturally using your voice as an instrument?
I would say so I've always been able to sing. There was a point where my sister one time got me 6 weeks of vocal training, so I guess 6 lessons of vocal training, but it didn't do much. It didn't take me to like the next level or whatever. It just taught me certain like breathing techniques or whatever. I would say the biggest influence on my voice or like learning how to sing was my sister herself, and just me just singing,
Just
like
singing,
just
innit?
singing. And I remember I was so adamant that, okay, if I just keep doing it, I'm sure it will get better. And I was very much like ear to the ground in the sense of, okay, what do people say about my voice? Do they like it? What do they like about it? Let me just keep honing the craft in. And the way I just honed it in was just to just keep singing, just keep singing. Yeah, there's no trick to it. It's just,
Yeah, man.
yeah,
Just natural talent
yeah,
and hard
literally,
work combined.
literally.
Yeah, man.
Literally. So I'm grateful to go for it because it's definitely come from above.
100%.
Definitely, definitely. So yeah, man, that's
So what's it like to be back?
um
It's a culture shock part 2.
definitely a culture shock.
Mm.
But definitely I'm back with a new focus. Like I'm back with a new focus. I don't feel obviously there are some days where I feel all over the place, but most of my days are kind of focused, and I kind of have this vision, this tunnel vision. Okay, I know how I want my life to look like now. I know where I want to place things. I know how much of myself I want to give to each pocket of my life. Even recently, I went back to school. So I went back to study psychotherapy. I started that last year, September. Love it. Absolutely love it. I completed the first level whilst I was out in China.
Okay.
Continuing it even now. And it's like, okay, cool. I know exactly how I want my life to look. I know exactly where everything fits. I know exactly what is required for me at this stage. And so yeah, I'm in a good headspace, ready to put more things out in the world now. I think.
And that's the perfect way to lead on to what's next with music.
So I've got some things in the vault.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some things in the vault. I would ideally, I'm saying this now. I plan to put out 2 new songs by the end of this year.
I look
2
forward
new
to
songs by the end
it.
of this year, and hopefully I'll be happy. Because for me, before you release a project, like a big project, you have to have loads of songs, and then you know. Hopefully, I already have the name in my mind. I would love to put out an EP by next year.
Okay.
When next year, I'm not sure yet, but definitely by this year, 2 new songs. Just so that I can get a vibe of what it's like to be back out again. Test the waters, and then just hit the ground running. Hopefully by next year as well, having like my first show, that'll be really sick.
Amazing.
That'll be really sick. I can't wait for that. And yeah, eventually, I'll get back to White Room. Eventually,
when the time's right.
When the time's right,
Yeah,
and the time, and yeah. So we'll get there. We'll get there. But right now, I'm making really good music. I'm sounding better than I've ever sounded before, and I just can't wait for everyone to just hear what I've got coming. It's gonna be amazing.
Hey, that's an amazing journey, man.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, thank you for coming through today as well.
Thank you for having me, man.
Stuff I really wanted to hear and know about. So
thank you for having me.
Big up yourself always, bro, man.
Thank you, bro.